Now at 9, a look at rural food concerns in Missouri, what's impacting families and communities across the state.
A recent Supreme Court ruling in Missouri draws even more questions about the status of abortion in the state. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
Elon Musk isn't happy with some moves from Congress. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with what the head of DOJ thinks about President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The U.S. Senate is considering a bill that would cancel SNAP benefits for many Americans, a big concern for rural communities in the 4 states where food insecurity is a growing problem. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Tanya Bach. Across Missouri, Feeding America says the food insecurity rate is 15.4%. And as Chris Bryant reports, when you get into rural areas, the number of children with not enough to eat climbs to 1 in 4.
In Missouri, 41% of those with food insecurity fall below the SNAP threshold, which is at or below 130% of the federal poverty level. So a household of 4 would qualify if their gross income is less than $3,380 per month.
I mean, we're still seeing the same elevated hunger statistics we've seen over the past year.
The United States Bureau of Labor Statistics says for the month of April, the Consumer Price Index rose 2.4%, and the food index increased at the same rate.
And we're attributing that to increased grocery prices, housing prices, and childcare all combining together to make it really difficult for families facing hunger.
Empower Missouri says in the state there are roughly 100 food deserts in both rural and urban areas.
That grocery store just not having enough economic support to stay within that community. I mean, that's why certain programs like the SNAP program are so important, because as dollars are spent in those grocery stores, that incentivizes that grocery store to stay in a rural community.
Now with President Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill before the Senate, the concern focuses on the reduction in SNAP benefits.
I mean, something like that would be a catastrophic stress. And I'd have to highlight is that the food bank could not replace that amount of meals that would be lost if something like the SNAP program were to change or go to a cost-sharing model. I mean, we simply do not have the resources to replace that.
SNAP benefits in Missouri helped 107,000 people get above the poverty line from 2015 to 2019, including 46,000 children. However, there are still some who choose not to participate.
Education around the program as well, because the biggest problem we see is so many people that are qualified for the program automatically take themselves out of the equation because they think I'm not qualified based on income, or that I'm taking care of a grandparent, or any number of reasons.
Another reason may be more personal.
Pride is a huge issue, and it's because we've really made it difficult for families to ask for help, because so many times we're immediately attacking them and thinking they're stealing from a system.
Browning says when one community or family is helped, the whole unit is lifted as well.
It's the best thing for everyone, because as soon as they are getting access to food, that allows everything to start happening that much more quickly, whether that's applying for a job, remaining productive, or just taking care of their family. And that helps out the entire community by being able to access food in a timely manner.
Under the proposed budget bill, it's estimated 150,000 people in Missouri are at risk of losing some amount of SNAP benefits, and 68,000 could lose all SNAP benefits. Now, SNAP isn't the only source for help. Tomorrow we take a look at local efforts to address food insecurity for children this summer. Well, meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, so far we've had a pretty nice day today, a few clouds, but we finally got to see the sunshine again after so many rainy days. Unfortunately, we are going to see another rainy day coming up tomorrow. We have showers and thunderstorms that are going to be continuing to push in through the overnight hours. You can see by about 1:30 to 2 a.m. southeastern Kansas, most of southeastern Kansas getting some of these rain showers starting to push in a little bit further. Now by 5 a.m. all of these showers and thunderstorms are going to stay north of I-44, but after 5 a.m. we're all going to see some heavy rain and thunderstorms. Now we're not expecting a severe threat with any of these storms, but we are going to see some decent rain lingering until most of the day tomorrow. By mid-morning, it all starts to push out towards the east on the Missouri and Arkansas side, but we're left with isolated showers that remain throughout the day. Now again, no severe threat tonight or tomorrow, and then we're back to sunny skies for the weekend. I'll have those details coming up. Well, a decision this week from the Missouri Supreme Court adds more confusion regarding the current state of abortion access. KOAM's Samantha Walker breaks down what this decision means for Missouri residents.
In November, Missouri voters passed Amendment 3, which removed the state abortion ban that took place following the overturn of Roe v. Wade. But now the Supreme Court has ruled that a district judge applied the wrong standard in their ruling that allowed abortions to resume in Missouri. Regulations that have been placed on hold were ones setting cleanliness standards for abortion facilities and a requirement to be licensed by the state. The district judge had ruled the licensing requirements were discriminatory, allowing Planned Parenthood to resume abortion services. This week, the Missouri Supreme Court overturned that ruling, and as a result, Planned Parenthood has stopped performing abortions in the state. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "Our patients remain our North Star, and we will continue to fight for their freedom to the constitutionally protected health care they voted for." On the other hand, State Attorney General Andrew Bailey applauded the Supreme Court decision. He said it's, quote, "a win for women and children and sends a clear message. Abortion providers must comply with state law regarding basic safety and sanitation requirements." We tried to talk with local voters here in Southwest Missouri about their opinions on the state of abortion in Missouri, but they said they didn't want to go on camera because many of them say they're left confused with all the lawsuits and court decisions surrounding the topic. In a statement, the executive director of Abortion Action Missouri says, quote, "What's really clear here is the confusion this will cause among patients was the whole point. However, our coalition has dealt with setbacks like this before, and we know how to support people accessing care despite a hostile political environment." According to Mo Protects, a pro-life political action committee, the Supreme Court decision is, quote, "a huge step forward in protecting the unborn and affirming Missouri's commitment to defending the most vulnerable." For now, Planned Parenthood is telling Missouri patients at this time that they can still access abortions in nearby states, including Kansas and Illinois. Reporting in Missouri, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, this legislative session, Missouri lawmakers approved another ballot measure that could reinstate an abortion ban. The Baxter Springs Chamber of Commerce hosted a big event for small businesses today. The Kansas Small Business Development Center invited small business owners out for a fast-paced workshop filled with practical tips and tools. Business advisors were on hand to provide strategies to improve operations, boost marketing, and help business owners avoid common pitfalls.
I think it's good to bring small businesses together. One, just to kind of network, and two, I'm hoping to leave them with some tips and tricks that they can take home today to actually make their business a little more successful.
Well, the Kansas Small Business Development Center Network promotes economic growth by providing management, marketing, and technical assistance to small businesses. Well, coming up, a crypto kidnapping case.
Sinister new details in a crypto kidnapping case in a luxury Manhattan townhome. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
But up first in Health Watch, summer's here, but so are the risks. Doctors warn of rising injuries and share tips to keep your fun safe in the sun. Well, summer brings a higher risk of drowning and other serious injuries, many right in your own backyard. Sue Guzman shows us how to keep your family safe.
As we welcome the unofficial start of summer, temperatures aren't the only thing starting to rise, with doctors warning of an influx in several seasonal injuries that can upend plans for fun in the sun.
Summertime is commonly known as trauma season.
While there are remedies for wounds, it's better to focus on prevention. This is especially true for any head injuries that can result from accidents involving bikes, scooters, and more. For these activities, the CDC says wearing a properly fitted helmet can lower your chances for traumatic brain injuries and concussions. But besides safety-proofing yourself, your yard may also require some attention,
because there are a lot more open fires over the summer.
Safety experts recommend creating a border around fire pits to prevent people and animals from stumbling in or getting too close. What you light fires with matters as well.
making sure that you don't use propane or kerosene to light fires.
Meanwhile, just because fireworks and the 4th of July go hand in hand doesn't mean some people won't be launching off a few early pyrotechnics. But mishaps with fireworks can lead to burns for mild injuries. Doctors say there's a lot of home remedies they don't advise.
We do not recommend people coating it with butter or Vaseline. Use cool water. Don't dip it in ice water.
Serious burn victims should seek emergency care. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, how does an outlaw from the past bring a town together today? See how Jesse James's legacy is helping Pineville, Missouri thrive at this year's festival.
Well, we've seen a nice day today, but unfortunately going to start to see those rain showers pushing in the next couple of hours. Now you can see downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We do start to see some clouds already pushing into the area, and showers and thunderstorms are going to continue in the next couple of hours as well. So we do see heavier rain held off until the morning hours, but isolated showers sticking around through the overnight hours. Now, not going to be severe, but we could get some thunderstorms as we push in through the overnight hours. Now, 2 a.m. southeastern Kansas getting those showers, isolated thunderstorm or two, most likely only going to see lightning, some thunder, but no severe threat. Now, further into the morning by about 5 to 6 a.m., all of these showers and thunderstorms mostly stay north of I-44, north of the Joplin area. However, just by 8 a.m., we are going to see the heavy rain descend into Joplin. So if you're planning on making a commute into work, you're going to be met with some rainy weather. Now, all of that slowly but surely starts to push out towards the east, mainly on the Missouri and Arkansas side. However, you can see Oswego, Columbus, and even getting up to Pittsburgh, still getting some lingering showers and thunderstorms by mid-morning. This is about 10:30 to 11 a.m. Then we're left with mostly isolated showers throughout the remainder of the afternoon and into early evening. By about 8 p.m., starting to see the sunshine in those northern counties, and all those clouds will continue to push out of the way overnight and into Friday, finally getting to see some sunshine again. Now, we've seen so much rainfall over the last couple of weeks. Luckily, we're not seeing as much rain accumulation with this system, mainly only 1/10 of an inch to about an inch, slightly more in some isolated areas, but not enough to really cause any flooding concerns. After that, we go into the weekend. We've got this ridge setting up, which is a high pressure system. It brings warm air, sunny skies into our area. So by Friday, we're in the upper 70s, might hit 80 degrees. And then heading into Saturday, we're going to be in the low 80s to mid 80s. So we're finally getting back up to average temperatures for this time of year. Now, Saturday evening, we've got this little shortwave trough. I want to keep an eye on that. Not going to be a severe threat, but it could bring some pop-up thunderstorms into the area as it pushes in. It's a shortwave trough, which means it's just a little kink in our upper level flow, just a dip, which could cause a couple pop-up thunderstorms. Less than a 10% chance, so I don't have it on the forecast, but those are going to be late afternoon, early evening. But outside of that, the whole weekend is looking beautiful, sunny, temperatures in the 80s. We do have thunderstorms and severe weather returning Tuesday through Thursday, lingering into Friday morning, with the main severe threat potential on Thursday. So we're going to want to keep an eye on next week, Tuesday again through Friday morning. But until then, temperatures in the 80s and sunny skies remain.
All right, well, great weather during the day for festivals. And Pineville, Missouri's annual Jesse James Day celebration is officially underway. The event honors the outlaw whose story brought Hollywood to Pineville in 1938. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, the hometown festival also raises vital support for the local fire department.
Yeah, I came here a couple times whenever I was a kid.
Justin Smith is a local who grew up in the Pineville area and attended this event. Now, he's using this event to jumpstart his own baking business.
Try to find alternatives for cinnamon rolls, like we got Oreo cinnamon rolls and blueberry cinnamon rolls.
Here's another.
I am the manager of the McDonald County Recycling Center, and we're just promoting our recycling center, letting the community know that we are out there.
We also met a local who says he has ties to the Jesse James films.
Grandpa was one of the extras. He wrote as Tyrone Powers in the movie. He done a lot of the acting in it.
Mariah Brown is the spokesperson for this event. She says Jesse James Days is huge for this town.
Actually are the town that the movie Jesse James was filmed in, so that's why we do this every year.
Brown says the money from this event will be well spent.
The proceeds go to the fire department, so that way we can buy them new nozzles, new uniforms,
And there's just so much to do.
and a pageant, which is tonight. And then we run bingo, which is tomorrow night through Saturday. And then we have a parade on Saturday as well.
Miss says this event was a lot more fun back in the day, but now?
Being a first-time vendor here, it was kind of stressful the day before and the morning of.
Together for Jesse James Days, almost iconic that an outlaw of the past is doing a world of good for a small community today. Reporting in Pineville, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Jesse James Days runs through Saturday, ending with a parade at 5 p.m., followed by a barbecue chicken dinner. Well, coming up, extending the lobster trade deal.
Maine lobstermen keeping an eye on those trade negotiations between the USA and the EU. I'm Jeff Flock in Kenny Bunkport, where they're hoping lobsters don't fall into the tariff trap. Back with a story in a second.
Nominate. Part of the trade talks between the EU and America is extending duty-free imports of American lobsters. Jeff Flock is in Kenny Bunkport, Maine, with the story.
We're out here in the Atlantic Ocean, just off the coast of Kenny Bunkport, Maine, where Maine lobstermen are not only watching the traps come up, we're also watching that EU trade deal. That's Chris Welch over there. Maybe you see him bringing the latest harvest in. What do you got in there, Chris?
Looks like a good pick on this one. We got some nice mail there for the market. That's going to make somebody a nice yummy dinner.
Watch that those claws don't bite you, and also watch out that trade deal doesn't bite you. The EU now in negotiations with the president over whether or not there's going to be a tariff on Maine lobsters to Europe. What do you think?
So I'm not an expert on tariffs, but I do know that if it affects our bottom line, we pay attention. What little I know about tariffs is if we can keep our lobster markets open and our lobsters moving, that's good for the Maine lobster industry, and that's what really matters to us.
Gotcha. The other thing the president has done is put an executive order out, which is saying that he'd like to have fewer regulations on lobstermen. That sounds like a good thing, but you already put a lot of regulations on yourself, right? Because you want to preserve this crop.
Yeah, so lobstermen are steward of the sea. We've often put things in motion ahead of time to make sure that we protect our future and our stock for now. We put in things like a V-notch law. We put in things like an oversized and an undersized.
The V-notch law, by the way, they put a notch. This one isn't getting notched, but if it's an egg-bearing female,
an egg-bearing female will
mark
notch.
it so
That's
that
right.
you throw it back and you don't harvest it.
The next lobsterman that harvests that knows that it's an egg-bearing female. Return it to the ocean for the future.
Gotcha.
We've done other things over time, and
you don't
the list
keep
is
the
long.
small ones.
No, we don't keep the
back?
small ones, and we don't keep the oversized.
Fun fact about lobsters, by the way, the claws are out there. If you don't want to get bitten by one, blow on the claw. It'll close right up. Fun fact. Off of Kenny Bunkport, Maine, there's the, maybe you see, there's the shore. I think that's the Bush family compound out there off in the distance. I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network in the Atlantic.
Speaking of lobsters and other sea life, up next we preview the upcoming Crawdads at the Creek event, Wildcat Glades' biggest night of food, fun, and fundraising. Get ready for a night of food, fun, and fundraising at Wildcat Glades. Wildcat Friends Group is hosting its 4th annual Crawdads at the Creek, their biggest fundraiser of the year, on June 6th at the Pavilion on Shoal Creek. Now, last year's event drew a lively crowd, and this year promises even more excitement with a delicious crawdad dinner, live music, and dessert auction and yard games. Now, funds raised help support vital education programs at the Wildcat Glades Nature Center, inspiring the next generation of nature lovers.
All of the funds that we raise at this event go towards our education programs, habitat restoration, trail maintenance, just all of the different varied things that we do at Wildcat Glades. We really want to encourage people to just come out and enjoy nature. You know, we do a lot to really make sure that people understand what we have here.
Tickets are $50 and include dinner, and you can find a link for tickets on the Wildcat Glades website. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Elon Musk shifts focus back to Tesla and SpaceX while warning Congress not to undo his record-breaking federal spending cuts. And a crypto crime turns brutal in Manhattan. 2 investors accused of torturing a man for his Bitcoin in a shocking Soho townhouse ordeal.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Elon Musk's relationship with the federal government appears to be hitting a rough patch. He's stepping away from his Doge post soon, but not before criticizing the massive budget bill passed by the House last week. Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
Elon Musk is taking a step back from politics and refocusing on his businesses, Tesla and SpaceX. But he doesn't want to see all his work slashing government spending undone by Congress.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
He's talking about the big, beautiful bill, a massive piece of legislation the House passed last week, which is expected to add more than $3 trillion in deficit spending over the next decade. It's filled with Trump's key policies, but even the president agrees it needs some work in the Senate.
We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go.
The House bill, they're not even scratching the surface. It's not even the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we need to do to return to a reasonable pre-pandemic level spending.
According to Doge's website, Musk and his team have cut $175 billion in federal spending since starting this effort. The White House is sending a rescissions package to Congress next week to codify the cuts into law.
We've got to look at all the Doge opportunities. But the reality is we got to look at every line on the budget. There's 6,000 lines.
Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will also use the appropriations process to cut spending. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, the Transportation Department proposes a temporary plan to address staffing issues with air traffic control. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic controllers who are eligible for retirement have been offered a 20% bonus on their salary. The incentive is meant to keep older air traffic controllers on the job while more are hired. The plan follows Duffy's announcement to, quote, supercharge the air traffic controller workforce. Well, shocking new details as another crypto investor is charged in court, accused of kidnapping and torturing a man in an attempt to steal his Bitcoin password. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
A second crypto investor has turned himself in after allegedly kidnapping and torturing a man for nearly 3 weeks. Investigators say it all happened inside this high-end townhome in the Soho neighborhood of Manhattan. William Duplessis and John Waltz are accused of trying to steal an Italian man's Bitcoin password after luring him to the United States. Over 17 days, the 2 crypto investors allegedly tied up the victim, shocked him with electrical wires, cut his leg with a saw, and forced him to smoke crack.
I've rarely ever seen people come in and out of this building, to be honest. So the fact that that was all happening behind closed doors is just, it's shocking all around. Definitely makes you think twice about who your neighbors are.
The 28-year-old victim says he was finally able to make a run for it after saying he would give up the password, finding a traffic cop outside. With crypto becoming more mainstream, more investors are being targeted. In Paris, an attempted kidnapping was caught on camera. Masked men trying to abduct the daughter of a crypto businessman.
As violent and as extreme as the circumstances are, this is a growing problem worldwide. In fact, it even has a special name. It's called a wrench attack.
Prosecutors say a search of that Soho townhouse turned up evidence like a saw, night vision goggles, and photos of the victim with a gun to his head and a crack pipe in his mouth. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later a tiny Missouri coffee shop goes viral, serving up laughs, local flavor, and millions of TikTok fans from their small town counter.
Well, we've seen a nice day today, but unfortunately going to start to see those rain showers pushing in the next couple of hours. Now you can see downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We do start to see some clouds already pushing into the area, and showers and thunderstorms are going to continue in the next couple of hours as well. So we do see heavier rain held off until the morning hours, but isolated showers sticking around through the overnight hours. Now, not going to be severe, but we could get some thunderstorms as we push in through the overnight hours. Now, 2 a.m., southeastern Kansas getting those showers, isolated thunderstorm or two, most likely only going to see lightning, some thunder, but no severe threat. Now, further into the morning, by about 5 to 6 a.m., all of these showers and thunderstorms mostly stay north of I-44, north of the Joplin area. However, just by 8 a.m., we are going to see the heavy rain descend into Joplin. So if you're planning on making a commute into work, you're going to be met with some rainy weather. Now, all of that slowly but surely starts to push out towards the east, mainly on the Missouri and Arkansas side. However, you can see Oswego, Columbus, and even getting up to Pittsburgh, still getting some lingering showers and thunderstorms by mid-morning. This is about 10:30 to 11 a.m. Then we're left with mostly isolated showers throughout the remainder of the afternoon and into early evening. By about 8 p.m., starting to see the sunshine in those northern counties, and all those clouds will continue to push out of the way overnight and into Friday, finally getting to see some sunshine again. Now, we've seen so much rainfall over the last couple of weeks. Luckily, we're not seeing as much rain accumulation with this system, mainly only 1/10 of an inch to about an inch, slightly more in some isolated areas, but not enough to really cause any flooding concerns. After that, we go into the weekend. We've got this ridge setting up, which is a high pressure system. It brings warm air, sunny skies into our area. So by Friday, we're in the upper 70s, might hit 80 degrees. And then heading into Saturday, we're going to be in the low 80s to mid 80s. So we're finally getting back up to average temperatures for this time of year. Now, Saturday evening, we've got this little shortwave trough. I want to keep an eye on that. Not going to be a severe threat, but it could bring some pop-up thunderstorms into the area as it pushes in. It's a shortwave trough, which means it's just a little kink in our upper level flow, just a dip, which could cause a couple pop-up thunderstorms. Less than a 10% chance, so I don't have it on the forecast, but those are going to be late afternoon, early evening. But outside of that, the whole weekend is looking beautiful, sunny, temperatures in the 80s. We do have thunderstorms and severe weather returning Tuesday through Thursday, lingering into Friday morning, with the main severe threat potential on Thursday. So we're going to want to keep an eye on next week, Tuesday again through Friday morning. But until then, temperatures in the 80s and sunny skies remain.
All right, looking forward to those sunny skies. And still ahead, the Oklahoma City Thunder have a chance to clinch a spot in the NBA Finals tonight. Plus, Diamond High School softball plays in the state championship for the second year in a row. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Diamond High School softball plays in the Class II state championship game tonight, and the Wildcats have the chance to defend their 2024 state title. Diamond faces Warsaw. The Wildcats looking for their second consecutive state championship. Top of the first, 2 outs. Aubrey Ball lines this into the gap. That's down, and she's into second with a stand-up double, but Diamond can't bring her home. Bottom of the inning, 2 runners on. Taylor Reeder gets a strikeout. Her first 6 outs all come via the punch-out. We're scoreless in the third. Warsaw with runners on the corners. Briley Brewser singles through the infield, and now Diamond trails 1-0 as Warsaw scores first. Same score in the 5th. Kenzie Crook hits the farthest ball of the game, but it's caught at center near the warning track. Now bottom 6, Reeder gets the final batter of the inning to strike out looking. She finishes the day with 12 strikeouts. Wildcats one last chance to tie it up. Top of the 7th, Ball at the plate, and she lines this one into center. That drops in. She goes all the way to second. That's a leadoff double. Nobody out. Now with 1 out in the inning, Dylan Daniels comes to the plate. She grounds this towards short. She's going to be out at first, but tying run now at third, 90 feet away from home. Crook is the Wildcats' final hope. She's at the plate, and she pops this one up to the second baseman. That is caught there, and the Diamond's hopes of a second straight state title fall short. Diamond loses 1-0 in the state title game. Wildcats' incredible season finishes with a runner-up finish at state. Meanwhile, Lamar High School baseball has its season come to a close tonight in the Class 3 sectionals against Clever. Final score 3-2. Tigers finished the 2025 season as District 12 champions with an 18-8 record. As is our Wednesday night tradition here, it's time to take a look at the Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals in tonight's Diamond Deep Dive. We'll start with the Royals, who are at home tonight, wrapping up the series with the Reds. They win it 3-2. Noah Cameron earns the win on the mound after going 6 1/3, allowing just one earned run. Bobby Witt Jr. has 2 RBI for Kansas City. After tonight's victory, the Royals are now up to 30 wins on the year. As you can see, the American League Central is loaded. So that's only good enough for 4th place in the division. KC is 7 games back of the Tigers for first place and 1 game back of the Twins for the final AL wildcard spot. Cardinals are in Baltimore, and they win tonight as well. Final score 6-4. Big game at the plate for both Brendan Donovan and Mason Wynn. The Redbirds middle infielders combined for 7 hits, 3 RBI, and 5 runs scored. Everybody near the top of the NL Central standings just keep on winning. Cards have won 2 in a row, but they're still 3 games back of the Cubs for first place because Chicago has won 4 in a row. And in this wild card race, the St. Louis is currently a game up on the Giants for the NL's 3rd and final wild card spot. The NBA playoffs roll along, and tonight the Oklahoma City Thunder have the chance to clinch a spot in the NBA Finals for the first time in 13 years, and it sure looks like they're just a few minutes away from doing that. The Thunder lead the Timberwolves 101-69 early 4th quarter as we come on the air. This one's been all OKC from the jump. Thunder led 26-9 at the end of the first quarter. They haven't looked back since. They've caused 18 turnovers for Minnesota so far. That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
A coffee shop in a small Missouri town has gone viral. In an attempt to get more customers and have some fun, the business in Stanberry, Missouri started making TikTok videos. One of them, about a man pretending to like black coffee, has grabbed millions of views. Chris Rush reports.
I like a black coffee.
Okay. We're like, let's make this go viral. Let's create some funny videos that people want to see.
This small town coffee shop prides itself on its friendly, warm environment and knowing their customers best. But right now, there are millions of people getting to know them.
No, a black coffee.
It feels like we're not even working. We brainstorm and work together so well.
3 Point Coffee in Stanberry, Missouri, about 45 miles northeast of St. Joseph, sitting off the beaten path a bit. But using social media like TikTok makes 3 Point Coffee a viral sensation, with this video hitting millions of views.
Black coffee for Bruce? We scroll a lot on Instagram or through TikTok, and it's like, oh, we need to do this one. This one's hilarious, and we kind of put our own twist on it.
As of Monday afternoon, this TikTok reaching more than 7 million views from a coffee shop in a town of about 1,200 people.
I like a black coffee.
Pretty.
No, a black coffee.
His original order is actually a black coffee with hazelnut.
The barista's getting the help from a regular, longtime educator Bruce Johnson to help create the TikTok videos.
Bruce?
It's so important here to Stanberry. These ladies and their great attitude, it just makes Stanberry a whole lot better.
I found you. Thank you.
And it's all to have fun while serving up some of their favorite drinks.
We live in such a rural area that we were having a lot of customers come from out of town just to get our coffee, but also now to have TikTok blow up like it did. It was just like, it was such a shock, and we were like on cloud 9.
I like a black coffee.
I like my coffee black too. If you want to check out the black coffee video or others from the business, go to tiktok.com/@3pointcoffee. Well, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio return to the dojo, guiding a new hero and honoring the legacy fans love. We preview Karate Kid Legends up next. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio joined forces to welcome Ben Wong into the Karate Kid franchise. We talked to the trio of stars about legacy, mentorship, and passing the torch. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
I want Lee to learn Miyagi karate.
Karate Kid Legends brings Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio back to the dojo, this time to guide Ben Wong as the next martial arts hero.
These are films that I grew up watching. These films have been a part of my childhood, so I understand the love. I understand what the fans feel because I am one. So you know, you just want to try to meet those expectations.
Wong admits playing alongside two icons was intimidating, but they made him feel right at home.
These guys are really, really fantastic to work with. I was nervous about working with them, but then you meet them and then, you know, that goes away because, look at them, they're great.
Wax on. From the underdog kid in 1984's The Karate Kid to a seasoned sensei in the Cobra Kai series, Macchio says his journey as Daniel LaRusso has come full circle.
It's just another chapter. The difference for me is now Daniel LaRusso is at this place that is kind of grounded, more Miyagi in his personal life. And when he hears that there is someone that means something to Mr. Han, just like Daniel LaRusso meant to Mr. Miyagi, it's never the wrong choice to try to help that next kid.
Focus.
Jackie Chan, who starred in the 2010 Karate Kid reboot, reflects on how he almost gave up on martial arts, but returned after watching the original film.
At that time, the action film not popular anymore. I was trying to give up everything. And what should I do? I've been learning so many 15 years martial arts. Suddenly you give up. Then after you watch Karate Kid, brings me back.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Karate Kid Legends kicks its way into theaters this Friday. That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a baby klipspringer at the Oakland Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.